Hello everybody, this is City Scrapper. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I have a scrapbook layout process video for you. This layout was made using a cut file from the Silhouette shop, and I am also using papers from the Basic Gray Eerie collection. It's a really old collection, and it's my favorite Halloween collection of all time. I absolutely love it. And right here I am cutting a circle to go behind the cut file, but I wanted to cut it a little bit smaller than my other circle, but I accidentally cut it too big. So I'm using these very old Creative Memories circle cutters, and I just attached both the cutter and the paper down to the cutting mat so that the paper wouldn't move when I was cutting it out. And I'm making this layout for the Load Challenge. If you're not familiar with the Load Challenge, Load stands for Layout a Day, and it is hosted by the Scrap Happy group. I will put the link to the Scrap Happy website in the description box if you're interested in knowing more about the Load Challenges. And for the Load Challenge, you have to create a layout a day for a month. So I usually try to think of ways to make layouts that won't take a huge amount of time, because of course I only have one day. We all only have one day to make them. So I do work a full-time job, so sometimes when I come home I'm really excited to make a layout, and sometimes I'm really tired, and on this day I thought a layout would be the way to go. So I did take some time to back the cut file, and I did that again with the Basic Gray Eerie collection. And I took this piece of 120-pound smooth white cardstock, I coated it with white gesso, and now I am using a stencil from Echo Park and some Heidi Swapp metallic texture paste, and I'm just going around that circle and spreading some texture paste through the stencil to make some spider webs. And this is a very shiny, translucent texture paste. It's a little iridescent. I really like it a lot. And I'm making sure to dry it in between applications so I don't smudge the new spider webs that I put on, or the old spider webs that I put on, with the stencil when I put on the new ones. Hope that makes sense. And the Layout a Day challenge is so much fun. It's a little exhausting, but by the end of the month, I have 31 layouts, and there's some I really like, and there's some that I sometimes have to go back and fix, but I always think that it's worth it in the end when I see how many layouts I've completed. As soon as I'm done with the stencil, I do wash it off right away, and I do find that sometimes this Heidi Swapp texture paste does stick to the stencil, especially if I don't wash it off immediately. If I do get a little texture paste on my stencil that I need to get off, I just use one of those dishwashing sponges. You know, it has like the harder side, and I just gently rub my stencil and it usually does come off. I also make sure as well that I dry the texture paste on my layout really well, because you don't want to put sprays onto wet texture paste. That's happened to me before. It was kind of a mess. So now I'm putting some Prima Color Bloom sprays on the background, and the orange color is called Pot Marigold. And you can see that I sprayed it directly onto my layouts. I wouldn't do that with all of the watercolor sprays that I've used. I do like the way the nozzle on these particular sprays can be directed to a particular spot without splattering all over the place. So I added the orange, and now I'm going in there with some green. The first green that I add is called Golden Oregano, and you could see that I'm using both my paintbrush and a piece of plastic packaging to spread the color around. And I wanted to see what the cut file would look like on the colors that I've put down so far, so I was just trying it out, seeing what it looked like. And now I'm spraying the greens all around. I actually use 2 colors of green in addition to the Golden Oregano. I also use a lighter color, which is called Brimstone Wings. And these sprays are really shiny and the color is very intense, but I do still like to add multiple layers of the watercolor sprays and then dry in between, and it just creates a depth and intensity you really can't get any other way. The first coat of a watercolor spray could look pretty, but I feel that when you add the next coat, it really improves a huge amount. So I do try to add multiple layers, as I said. And I'm adding some orange splatters here, drying my background, cleaning up my area a little bit. And now I'm going to go back into the background with a purple color. This is also a Color Bloom spray by Prima, and the name of the color is Sugar Plum. And while I do add purple in all the different areas of the layout, I don't add a ton of the purple. There's a lot of purple on the pattern papers that I'm going to be putting in the center, as you saw earlier. So I did want the background to go with the pattern papers, but I also didn't want it to match too closely. I wanted it to be a contrast with the background, so I added a smaller amount of purple than I did the orange and the green. And for the purple, I mainly just went in with my paintbrush. Here I'm adding some purple splatters all the way around the circle and on the different clusters. And I do like a lot of splatters. I'm going to come in here now and make some splatters in green as well. And today I'm rotating my paper a lot. I feel like it helps me to get all around the paper since this is a circle. I'm using some watered down white acrylic paint and putting some white splatters on. It's just something that I feel like you can never go wrong with when you're doing a mixed media background. I do think that white splatters and black splatters just really help pull things together. And I do like to have a few black splatters, even on very light layouts. Not every single layout, but I do think that the black splatters helps to draw the pattern papers and the photograph into the background. It kind of makes it all match. So it's kind of a go-to for me. And I do keep the little bottles of watered down paint right on my desk because I do use them so much. So I decided that it looked unbalanced because on most of the sides, or all the other sides, there was an area where the spider webs went off the page. So I decided to just go back in with some texture paste and just add a little bit more to that edge, and then I just put some sprays down there to give it some color. Now my background is complete, and I'm using these scissors to distress the 4 sides of the paper. And I'm using Tim Holtz black distress ink. I love those little pads. They come in so handy, and I'm using those to just color up all those distressed edges. And I cut that background piece of paper probably about a 1/4 inch smaller or shorter on each side than the 12 by 12 inch paper I'm attaching it to, maybe a tiny bit more, just so that there's a little border all around. And just putting some ATG adhesive on that purple circle, and I'm going to be attaching the cut file about halfway down, a little bit less than halfway down. And I did put some foam on it. I did that off camera, and I'm again using the ATG adhesive to attach down the cut file. And this is a photo. It's one of many photos that I took when I went to Salem, Massachusetts with my family, and this is one that looks like the Addams family, the characters that are there, and we've seen them for many years, and we always take a picture with them. Love their setup, think it's really cool, and yeah, we just have a really fun time in Salem. We've been very lucky with the weather, It's always been nice when we went there for the majority of the time we were there. And sadly, I don't think the entire Halloween celebration took place this year. Hopefully, we're crossing our fingers that next year will be a better year for travel. And once I attached the photo down, I realized I had foam on the back of the cut file that overlapped the picture, and I had to cut a lot of that back. Otherwise, the cut file wouldn't sit flat on the page. So as a little touch, I went in with some metallic luster, and I believe that color is Champagne Ice. And I just wanted to add a little bit of a highlight to the spider web. Spider webs are sometimes depicted as black and sometimes depicted as white, as like cobwebs, so I thought adding a little bit of that would just be a nice little touch. Now to add to the distressed look a little bit more, I'm just going around and really roughing up those edges. They're already distressed, as you saw that I distressed them with the scissors, but I wanted to kind of just rip into that and just really make the edge more distressed. So at this point, I'm just looking for a few little touches to add. Those are really old Martha Stewart spiderweb corner. They're like photo corners, but I don't use the whole photo corner. I just take the top piece off and I attach it down. I don't use the whole part that the photo goes into. And I have a bit of a collection of spiders in my stash, different types of spiders. I've gotten them over the years, usually at Michael's, and I'm just trying different spiders down to see which ones I think will look nice around the cut file and the photo. And I don't do too much more to the layout. I feel that the mixed media, there's a lot of mixed media, and with the cut file and the spiders that are already in the cut file, I don't have to do too much more, but I did want to add a little something just to bring an element of the cut file into the background, and so I thought spiders would be perfect for that. I had the 12 by 12 inch sticker sheet for this collection, so I was looking on the sticker sheet for some little touches that I could add to the background, and I saw that there were these little phrase stickers on the sticker sheet, so I'm selecting a couple of those and putting them on the background. I'm lifting up the web there to stick one of them underneath and adding that little black spider there. I also saw that there were some star stickers on that sticker sheet, so I added a couple of those around the circle. And that concludes this layout. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope if you like this video, you'll give me a thumbs up, and I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much to my current subscribers. I will be back again soon with another process video. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. I'll see everybody again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.